Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Oh my goodness, y'all, last year was such a good reading year. I have to say I found a lot of amazing books in 2025. So many good ones. It was really difficult to select just 10 books for this video. The ones I did ultimately select are a collection of ones that are largely 5-star reads for me or very, very close to 5 stars because they were just so incredibly good. So let's dive right into these. I'm not putting these up in any particular order. They are just all books that I absolutely love and would highly recommend. The first one I'd like to talk about is Moving Target by Lynette Eason. This is the third book in the Elite Guardian series. It was very hard to select a favorite from this series because all of these are so incredibly good. They were all high action, fast paced, and the characters were so great. A lot of the characters weave in and out of the stories, and so you get to know not only the male and female lead in each of these, but also the other people they work with and other people that kind of filter in and out of their lives. Number 3 is my favorite of the 4, but quite honestly, I loved them all. It is a 5-star series for sure across the board, and I would highly recommend them. They were incredible. If you like romantic suspense, maybe give them a try. The next book is Color by J.J. Fisher. This was actually really, really good. This was a late in the year read. I didn't read this until December of 2025. It is a fantasy and it was very good. There were so many quotes in this one that were really stand out. There were things that the author put in here that I was going, wow, that hits hard. Like that is an incredible quote. I loved this story. There is an entire series. So this is just the first book. There are 2 other books, and I have the second one that I just started this month and I'm hoping to read, and I cannot wait to get to the third one after it because if they're anything like the first one, they're going to be an amazing time. I really enjoyed this book. And this story, while it's about a few main characters, it's in particular about a girl named Stephanie, and she can edit memories with a single touch. So very interesting ability that she has there. The next one is When Twilight Breaks by Sarah Sundin. This was truly a standout book. I loved this story. There was high adrenaline because it takes place during World War II. So of course the characters were finding themselves in high stress situations, but the characters themselves were amazing. Again, the writing, the quotes that were in here, just awesome. I loved this book. I'm currently reading another one by Sarah Sundin, which is Until Leaves Fall in Paris, and that one has been just as good. Like, I don't know if I could pick between the two. I'm not done with that one yet, but that tells you how good it is. But this, it was so good. I highly recommend it. Another historical is Lady Jane Disappears, and this is by Joanna Davidson Politano. Now, Joanna is a new author to me from 2025. I had never read any of her books before, but this was really good. I think this was her debut, so she has a lot of other books that are out, but this was amazing. It says on the back, Lyndhurst Manor is a house built on secrets, and the arrival of Arlie Harcourt might reveal them all. And it was good. So the main character in here is actually a writer, and there are a lot of secrets that come to light in this book, and the kind of intrigue and the things that happen and the nuances of wondering what's going on, it keeps you turning the page. Also, lots of amazing quotes in this one, and that is a common theme across the board with all of these. The writing is just so good. The next one I want to talk about is If I Live by Terry Blackstock. Now, this is a trilogy. It follows the same main female character who is falsely accused of a crime and has to go on the run. It's a fast-paced ride of her trying to clear her name while also being targeted by the actual people who did commit the crime that she's accused of. And she also has all these kind of like side adventures as she's tackling this main mystery and trying to keep herself alive. She's also helping out other people along the way and discovering a lot about herself in the process. So this is the third and final book in this series, but the entire series is 5-star. With every book, it just kept going up for me. So these are the other ones. It's If I Run, If I'm Found, and then If I Live. And highly recommend this series. It's kind of unique to find a suspense thriller series that follows a single story arc throughout the course of all the books. But this one does that, and it does it incredibly well. The next book is Tempest at Annabelle's Lighthouse, and this is by Jamie Jo Wright. I also discovered Jamie Jo Wright in 2025 and have read 4 or 5 of her books at this point. She is a new favorite author for me. She's an auto-buy author. I want to purchase everything she's ever written. Her books are so good. She writes gothic suspense, and each one is dual timeline with characters who are set in a historical time period and characters who are also set in a current time period and how their stories cross. But this one was really good. This one had a lot of very atmospheric, kind of haunting qualities to it. You're wondering a good chunk of the story whether or not there's a ghost that's present that is actually haunting this lighthouse. And it was really good. There was a twist at the end that I actually didn't see coming, and maybe you would see it coming, I don't know. But when I read that final page, I audibly gasped. I did not expect that ending. So well done, Jamie Jo Wright, for a well done twist and a very good story. I really enjoyed the characters' stories in this book. Next is Against the Tide by Elizabeth Camden. This was the first time I read a novel by Elizabeth Camden, and I started with a really good one. This had intrigue, adventure, things that were coming out that were very unexpected for the main character, and definitely a growth journey for her along the way, and a lot of things that she has to tackle and deal with. She herself is really skilled with languages, so she serves as a translator, and her translation skills kind of pull her into a web of things that she definitely did not anticipate. The main male character in this was very complex and very different from a lot of male leads that you see in novels. He was hard to figure out, but he was really amazing, and I really enjoyed these two characters' stories, and it was definitely an adventure. Another series by Lynette Eason, Blue Justice series. This is book 2, and this one is called To Protect. This was my favorite one of the series, but the entire series was amazing. I highly recommend it. Again, these characters kind of cross and overlap with each other, so you kind of get to know other people along the way, and you get to enjoy seeing that weaving in of their stories. But this particular one, book 2, is the one that stood out the most to me. I loved this one. I want to reread it at some point. These are also romantic suspense and fantastic series. Highly, highly, highly recommend. And now we're to the last 2 books that make up my top 10 for 2025, and it's actually by the same author, and it's the same series. So I'm going to kind of present 9 and 10 together, and that is Across the Ages and also Every Hour Until Then by Gabrielle Meyer. These are 2 books in the Timeless series. So this series is probably one of my favorite series that I have ever read. They are done so well. You get totally and completely invested in these characters' stories, and frequently throughout the book, you find yourself unable, literally, to put the book down, especially once certain things happen in the stories. You cannot stop until you are done with the book. Pretty much every single one of her books, I have reached a certain point of no return, essentially, where I cannot put the book down. And these are just amazing. These 2 are my favorites in the series, which is hard to say because they're all so good. But this one, there are pirates involved in this one. So that is a huge contributor to me liking this one so much. The characters are so well done, and the adventures that they find themselves in, you just don't want to stop reading. So this one was so good. This one was a little darker and takes place, one of the timelines takes place during the time of Jack the Ripper. So as you can imagine, very intense subject matter, but it handled really, really well in the course of this story. So I would highly recommend this entire series, but these 2 were the standouts of the year. I absolutely loved them and will for sure be rereading all the Timeless books. But these in particular, I can't wait to get back to again. And again, these are time-crossing novels with our main character living in 2 and sometimes 3 different time periods and having to ultimately choose which time period to stay in. And that's it for this video. Those were some of my absolute favorite reads of 2025. Again, it was so hard to pick because it was a good reading year. But all of these are books that I would talk about over and over again. There are books that I would reread. There are books that I would recommend to other people to read. And I hope you got some good ideas for some things to maybe add to your TBR for the current year. Thank you for spending this time with me. I appreciate you all so very much. And as always, remember to keep following your dreams and believing in the magic of this thing called life. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.